This episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com, Authentic Muay Thai Lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of Nak Muay. Go check it out. This episode of the podcast is a recording from September 1st with Sack Life Official. What Sack Life is led by a man named Tim. His whole purpose right now is to bring awareness to mental health through martial arts. He's going around, traveling around, teaching people free martial arts lessons in order to help combat poor mental health. Super cool guy. Really enjoyed my interview with him. Definitely go check them out at Sack Life Official, SACKLIFE Official on Instagram. Again, enjoy the show and go check them out.
Hello, and welcome back to TKO Stigma, that talk show series where we knock out stigma with open conversation. And what is stigma? It is a false or negative view, basically a negative stereotype surrounding mental health. And it prevents a lot of people from getting the help they need and even from talking about the things that they're dealing with. So one of the best ways that we can help each other and knock out that stigma that's preventing us from moving forwards is by talking about mental health and talking about the things that help us. So here today, hopefully in just a few moments, is going to be my next official guest. He's a Muay Thai veteran, many years of experience, and also a coach / crew, Jonathan Pu'u of Pu'u Muay Thai out in California. And there he is right now. Let's see if we could get him in here. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. In just a moment. Go.
Hopefully this thing, everything's working.
And hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Jonathan. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yes, it's good to have you. It's good to meet you virtually face-to-face for the first time.
Yeah, after just talking a little bit on, we were sending voice memos back and forth while you're traveling. So
yeah, it's been really cool. I noticed you were able to train with my friend Nina Carita out there.
Yeah, she came and visit by the school with some of her friends and stuff like that down in Ventura.
Very cool, very cool. So let's dive right in. For the people who don't know, what is your background in Muay Thai?
So Muay Thai, right now, I've been working with my team to help build out Muay Thai academies here in the Central Coast in California. Or it's still Southern California, but it's like Ventura County and Santa Barbara County. So we have a Muay Thai academy in Ventura County that's been there for about 8 years now, coming up on 8 years. For a long time, we were the only Muay Thai academy in Ventura County until recently, which is cool to see more. That's always been the goal. And then there's also, we have Pu'u Muay Thai Santa Barbara with my partner, Coach Ryan Ughawk. So that's really what I'm focused on right now. I work as a ring official for a lot of tournaments that are in North America. So a lot of people, it's funny, they come in, they're like, hey, you're Jonathan. I'm like, cool, focus on your fight.
Nice.
Doing that, I've been working in Muay Thai now since I was 18. So I'm 32 years old now. I've been doing it full time. I actually just kind of saw a post from 11 years ago where I was fighting at Knott's Berry Farm in California, which is pretty funny. So if I was an amateur, I had a couple pro fights. Nothing spectacular. I wasn't the best fighter, but my whole thing was, just fighting anybody, anywhere, anytime, and never said no when I was active to fight. I always for better or worse. I guess. But it made me a coach. I have been going back and forth to Thailand since I first started. I fought over there before. We bring our students over there, do Muay Thai training camps. Recently published a book last year on preparing for her first Muay Thai fight, self-published, and then just really focused on building our team. So that's what I'm
Very
doing.
cool.
That's just in a gist what we do.
So you said you started about 18 years old.
Yeah.
What was it that attracted you to or drew you into Muay Thai? And was it Muay Thai from the beginning?
Yeah, well, the thing is, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to do martial arts. That was the deal. I grew up, my parents ran a surf and skate shop. My dad was a surfboard shaper. So never really got the chance to do it. It was always, hey, no, we're too busy. Like, they didn't really understand what martial arts were and the benefits that it would have had for me as a child. So that got pushed aside until I was like 18. I was going through a lot of stuff, went through substance abuse as a teenager, pretty bad. I went to continuation school, almost didn't graduate high school, had to do 2 years in 1 year. And I had a mentor, and he said, hey, what did you want to do when you were a kid? I'm like, I wanted to do martial arts. Cool, why didn't you go do it? You're 18. So I could go waiver and stuff. So I began my research on what martial art I could do. And this is when YouTube wasn't as big as it is now. I'm sure you remember about 12, 13, 14 years ago. I could type in Muay Thai on YouTube, and there would be only one page of new content every day, maybe. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a different time. That's how I found it, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. This martial art looks very direct and more my style of what I wanted to learn.
Cool. Very nice. So when you started training, you said that you were dealing with some things such as substance abuse and you were going through some other things. Did you find that Muay Thai was helping you in deal with those things? Was it giving you some benefits outside of the competition?
Absolutely. So when I got started, like the reason I found like martial arts and like going into that, of course, my mentor, but I needed something that I could do every day, and it didn't rely on other people. Of course, I was running, I was going to the gym, but that didn't really like, I hear it every day here at our academies is that, I get bored of it, and it just drags on a little bit much. Sorry if there's a little bit noise.
No worries. It's all good.
I just kind of got bored and tired of doing that, and I needed something that I could do every single day. So the reality of it is I kind of fell off, and I needed something because I was always dealing with like depression and stuff like that too as a teenager, like pretty bad. Went to the doctor a few times for it and everything as a kid, and I needed something to do every day, and that's really like what directed me towards that. And that's what Muay Thai like allowed me to do is I could show up every day. I could hit the bag. I didn't need to have somebody there with me. I had a trainer. I knew the trainer would most likely be there. There would be a class time and like structure in the day. It's like, hey, at this time from like 6 to 8 p.m., I'm training martial arts. I'm training Muay Thai. So
nice.
The competition was a bonus.
So you said that you needed something you could do every day, and Muay Thai is definitely one of those things. I know personally I found it helps me stay consistent because of the huge amount of room for growth, for progress. It's like an unlimited amount, right? You can always continue to improve on what you know and build yourself up, and there's always more to learn around the corner.
Exactly.
What were some of the things for you that helped you stay consistent with that progress in Muay Thai?
So some things that helped me stay consistent, I'd say the number one thing was like the camaraderie of the people that I met, my training partners. They would say stuff like, hey, are you going to be here tomorrow? Or I would ask them too, like, hey, sparring tomorrow, are you going to be here? And just that constant camaraderie and that community that you have within that is just, you don't get it in many places, especially a place where you're punching and kicking each other.
For sure, yeah. That social support, right? That social support element.
Exactly. And everybody that's in there is kind of going through their own thing, have their own reasons, their own why. So, and whether you talk about it or not, it doesn't matter. But we're all benefiting from it.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's something I found too when I was traveling and visiting different martial arts studios. One of the common things that it seems like is very prevalent in the community is everyone kind of shares like a growth-based mindset, and they want to support each other. They want to see you do better, if not if not for you, but only also to test them, to help them do better, right? Because if you have a better opponent, then you can bring your skill level up. So
Absolutely.
I thought that environment was really cool because it's pretty tough to find people who are interested in your growth or progress just out in general
Yeah,
life.
yeah. You're not gonna like. There's not a lot of places that I could think of where you're gonna find that. Um, through martial arts and like you said, they're just the growth mindset, which is if you haven't read, have you read Mindset by Carol Dweck?
I have not. No.
Oh man, the growth mindset. You should go check it out. Anybody out there, I highly recommend it. I've gotten a lot of mindset stuff through martial arts, and that's helped a lot with these things too.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. You said The Growth Mindset by Carol White?
It's called Mindset by Carol Dweck.
Mindset.
There's an audio book too on I think Audible. Highly recommend it.
Cool. I made a note for myself. But speaking on mindset, actually, what type of mindset do you feel like Muay Thai has helped you develop or has facilitated in you as a person?
So, with Muay Thai, it's a very hard style of martial art. There's nothing really gentle about it, except for maybe some of the throws, and for the person who's doing it. But really, where it's come into is being and being able to persevere through like hardship. Through like I said, I fought anybody that I could, and so sometimes I'd have an easy fight, and then a lot of times I'd have a freaking hard fight, and it's like, hey, you got 2 more rounds to go, and you just got your butt kicked, and you got to get back out there and keep going. Like you can't give up. There's like a couple thousand people here, maybe podcasts online and stuff like that too, and if you give up, everybody's going to see it, and you're giving up on yourself. So having that and having the support of like your instructors, of your training partners, and to that mindset to overcome and persevere during those low points that we have, and you can relate the fight to like your life. You have really good times. Hey, that in relationship to the fight, it's like, hey, a fight where everything's clicking for you, everything's going great, your defense is there, you can hear your corner, your breathing, weight cut was good. And you're just feeling solid. You're feeling $100. And then you have those times where you're low and you're just like, you're getting your butt kicked, and maybe you have an injury, and of course the guy hits that right away. That's just the way it goes. So you can relate that to like life. You have a lot of stuff that just feels like things pile up on you, repeatedly. But this allows that mindset that you have from Muay Thai. It really is developed, and you see it a lot in high level Muay Thai athletes, Muay Thai fighters. Especially the kids, because they're just used to getting the shit kicked out of them day in, day out. It's not easy. So that the mindset develops is just like, smile, you be humble, but also know that, when push comes to shove, you're able to stand your ground and be able to do what's necessary to get through it.
Very cool. Very cool. From my end, from a personal aspect, I haven't done any competition or any kind of smokers or anything like that. I'm totally absorbed in just the training, and I've been doing the training for myself, just for my mental health, to help me overcome suicidal ideation and some really dark periods that I was going through. And I felt like even with just the training aspect of it, it shows you what you're capable of on your own, shows you what you can do with your time to build yourself up and develop that kind of mental resiliency, that mindset, that can carry over into so many other areas of life.
Absolutely. And that, like, talking about like the suicide and stuff like that too. And I see it a lot for a lot of like students that come through our doors. They may not say it right away. I can see it because I'm like, oh, I recognize that look.
Yeah.
And, maybe months down the line, they're like, man, you saved my life. During the shutdowns this past year, they had students who were just like, without this, I don't know what I would have done. And, it's like, hey, what do you mean? They're like, I was going through a really depressed period. I don't know what I was going to do. So I think a lot of people can relate to that just through the training aspect as well. And it gives you, like you're talking about, like what you're capable of, what your body's capable of. The human body's amazing. And it's easy to forget that when you're going through like maybe a lower period, where you're feeling a little bit down, kind of downplaying it. But when you're feeling really low, knowing that your body's capable to do these certain things, it's very empowering for sure.
Yeah, I found the same thing. And that's amazing. You said that you've had students mention that you've saved their life or that Muay Thai has saved their life. And I hear the same thing from people who just started training and they're putting in the work and they're building themselves up and they're seeing what they're capable of. And I think it really changes the mindset of people who are stuck in kind of a victim mentality. And it switches that over from victim to kind of victor. Shows you how empowered you can be and how you can move forward through these things, through those struggles, right? Because Muay Thai in itself, you're presenting yourself with a struggle every day that you train. So being able to do that repeatedly and over time, I think just reinforces that you can, you will, and you will continue to fight forwards. And it's really helped me change my mindset. I can kind of see that happening out there as well.
Absolutely. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
When you're like, how did you discover martial arts and training and like the benefits of it for you?
Oh, cool. So, well, I was going through a terrible time of loss, a lot of really big life events. I lost a marriage. I lost connection with my family and almost my entire social support system all at once. And I went into a deep depression. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress-induced clinical depression. And I was in therapy and on medication, and it helped me take some steps forward, but I was continuing to decline. And it got to a point where that suicidal ideation crept up, and I wound up in an emergency room because there was like nothing else I could think of other than taking my life. So it was at that point in the ER after going through that process where I decided I needed to do something for myself. I needed to do something where it was me. It wasn't like I was going to someone else to help me through this problem or give me a pill that's going to fix it or, tell me the right thing. There's certain things that we need to heal through somatically, so physically. And so after that point in the emergency room, I looked for a way that I could do something for myself. And I had a lot of anger and frustration that was suppressed, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I started reading about the heavy bag, and I bought a heavy bag for my home. And the first moment that I hit it, I felt a release like nothing that I could have got through talk therapy or any of that other stuff. And it just, I just knew that I wanted to do this more and more. So I started training and seeing benefits in my physical and my mental. And it started just the fact of me training around other people started drawing people, other martial artists into my life. So local martial artists started getting interested and coming by and teaching me how to not injure myself when I hit the bag. Yeah. And that just led to a whole nother avenue of growth and improvement. So I got my martial arts background literally 732 days ago from the local martial artists. I started going public with it to inspire other people to hopefully train. And then it just kept building from there. And I learned a little bit of Western boxing, a little bit of Muay Thai, a little bit of kickboxing. And then what I fell in love with was Muay Thai itself, because I just love that it's the art of 8 limbs. You have all these different tools to use, and you have so much room to express yourself through training and be creative. And you have mentioned before that just regular exercise or maybe working out would get boring, it could get repetitive, especially those isometric exercises. You're doing the same thing over and over again. I hate exercise. secret out. I hate exercise. It's always been kind of something that felt routine or boring, but this was completely different. This was like a whole nother level. And yeah, once I started, I never stopped. And I've been growing over time, linking up with other martial artists. I traveled to California and trained with Greg Wooten. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, world champion.
And yeah, two-time Muay Thai world champ. And I did some training with Nina Karita too while I was out there. And I've just been continuing to try and grow and improve myself and expand my knowledge base so that I could pass that along to my students. Because now we have a virtual class. We're training with people
That's
all
awesome.
over the place.
That's amazing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, it now, like this is how it was for me, is like now that you had a reason to do all these other exercises, strength training, the running, like you have a reason, it's to make your Muay Thai better.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you have that in a supplement now too, and that's gonna help that. It's gonna help that base. It's money in the bank for training.
For sure. Yeah. And I think that once you start, it encourages that holistic approach to improving yourself and improving your life. You start to think about diet, you start to think about exercise and what's maybe slowing you down when you're training. You start to try and improve because it's all about constant like improvement, constant growth.
Yeah.
Such a cool thing to find. And I'm 36. I only found it 2 years ago. So
never too late.
It's very fresh. Yeah, it's never too late. Absolutely. And so you said you started since you were 18. Have
Yes.
you found that all this time that it still continues to benefit you today from a mental health aspect?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like, just a side note, I got my brother to start training after I was training for about 10 years. So he's one of the people that calls me on it. If I'm working all the time, which is easy to do in the position I'm in to work too much, and he notices, he sees me, he's like, yeah, you need to train. And I just look at him, yeah, you're right. Go train, everything's fine. It helps, just levels you out, anxiety, any like low thoughts, it just goes away. Whether
Yeah.
it gives you some release on that, and I see it to this day, and I've actually been messing with more running and stuff like that right now because it's been hard to find time to train, just given the like what I'm doing right now. But I'm actually in our current facility here in Santa Barbara, and we're getting our heavy bag set up, so I'll be able to smash the bag after hours. So I'm really stoked about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing like just laying into it, right? And just getting out that frustration or whatever
Oh
you're
man, I
going
like
through.
just zoning out in the bag and be able to just flow. Start building into power, and those days where you feel like you don't want to train, those are the days where you should train. It's like, hey, you just start light, just go slow. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're 20 minutes in, you're freaking ripping, hard shots in the bag.
Yeah, 100%. That's one of the things you mentioned. Two things actually: flow, getting into flow, and I don't know if you've looked into like flow state. Uh, yeah, and people describe flow state as a eustress experience. So stress cannot exist in a state of mental flow. And there's two other things that can't exist there. It's ruminating thoughts and worries about the past and the future, and the mild to moderate effects of both depression and anxiety cannot exist when you enter a state of flow. So there's literally like a science behind it. And training is something that it seems like it's so easy after you've been doing it for a while to just get into that zone and just free yourself from that stress and stay in that state of flow. So that was something that was hugely beneficial to me and that I noticed in my training. So, super cool. And then the other thing was the accountability. You say you had your brother there, he'll call you out and he'll be like, it's those days where sometimes you feel like the last thing you want to do is train, but those are the ones that you need it the most because it's really like gonna take that weight off. And it's so cool to have that that tool available.
And that comes into like your training partners and stuff too. I almost quit Muay Thai 2 years in training. My training partner is the one that kept me in it. So that community and that accountability that you develop, it doesn't have to be family. It took me 10 years to get my brother to start training. So 10 years I didn't have him. I had other people. I still have those other people too. So it definitely builds into that for sure.
Very nice. So do you have any standout moments in your Muay Thai experience? Any like specific moments that you either enjoyed the most or maybe changed your perspective a little bit, like some sort of
Well, I guess in
pinnacle?
regards to what? Like in regards to like Just Muay Thai in general.
Just Muay Thai in general. What's a moment that you love that you've been able to give yourself through Muay Thai?
I would say there's a couple because it's in business and in personally. So when I was 19, I first went to Thailand. Um, I was getting ready to fight, and I was leaving that night at like 2 a.m. on an airplane. And they put the liniment, the Namen Muay Thai boxing liniment. For those that don't know, it smells like menthol, Tiger Bomb. It smells similar to Tiger Bomb. So it just got rubbed down in this whole thing, and there was like broken ass janky mirror, and I was sitting on like a picnic table, and I just remember looking in the mirror and just saying like, even if I get my ass kicked right now, I want to do this for a long time. And I remember just like feeling that moment, like it's just gritty, just like, hey, this is what I want to do. And I look back on that moment, and I think about it a lot. It's just like, man, I stuck to it, and that was like a legitimate moment I had for myself. And I don't know, I just knew that I was going to be doing this for a long time. I was going to do everything I could. So that's definitely like one of those moments that I had leading into that really just added to it. And
Cool.
I'd say the other one, like, business wise and like as an instructor, is like having, and it happens every time when a student tells me or shares with our instructors that our program literally saved their life, whether mental health, personally, physically. Um, I have a student who's been training with us, and he was like, "Man, my doctor said whatever I'm doing, keep doing it because it literally saved my life. Got off heart medication, all this stuff. Like it's insane what it can do for you and for your body and your mind." So every time I hear
Yeah.
that, that's really like one of those moments I always kind of like reflect on, just kind of have like gratitude for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It adds a whole level of fulfillment, right? When you see that what
Absolutely,
you're doing is having a major impact.
exactly.
And
Well, I have one moment. So Scott Dunst, who just joined in on the stream, he's actually a high school teacher, and I'm a big proponent of like gratitude and daily gratitude practice. And he actually started implementing it into his classroom. As a result of me pushing it so much, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Dunst. Great person, is one of our students, and he's helping kids with that too. Because this past year on like teenagers and stuff, I can't imagine if I was a teenager going through what I went through as a teenager, going through this time in history right now.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And I think we've got a comment coming in. He said, gratitude journaling helped the students during the COVID times.
And
And yeah, gratitude is tremendous. We practice gratitude every single day. It's the first thing we start our class with, that virtual class I was mentioning before. Um, and it's a powerful tool. And studies shown that even if you can't find something to be grateful for, simply asking yourself the question, what am I grateful for today? Can slowly train your brain to find those things and to look for those silver linings and actually affect the chemical balance in your brain,
yeah,
leading to a more positive outlook.
yeah,
So, yeah, gratitude's huge. It's very cool to hear other people implementing it
for sure.
out there.
Yeah,
I know you guys also you put out a gratitude journal, right? You published a
yeah.
book.
I just did one. I branded it like for Muay Thai because it's like a training journal and a gratitude journal, daily gratitude journal. The idea stemmed from like a lot of our students. We tell them to journal. Hey, you need to journal about your training. Especially our competitors, because you have days where you feel like, man, I feel great, and you have days like, man, why the hell am I doing this? I freaking suck. I hear this all
Mm,
the time from people, and I'm like, you had like a awesome sparring day 2 days ago. You don't remember that? Like, we all have off days. It's fine. That's part of training. But having that and being able to have the gratitude journal, and it spurred so much that I think it's called a Fight City Fitness in Bermuda. My friend Chuck, he just won the Thai boxing classic tournament in Iowa, like I think it was like 2 months ago, and he's like, man, he introduced me to all the students. And said, hey guys, and he surprised me with this. He's like, this is Jonathan. He's the one that wrote the journal that I bought all of you guys. So he bought like a batch of journals for his whole competition team, and they
cool.
implemented a training program for the tournament. And so
Yeah,
there was a result. They had champions. So
that's awesome.
yeah,
That is awesome.
it was pretty
So
badass.
Yeah, that's sweet, man. It's great to see like the ripple effect of
Yeah.
what you're doing out there. And you mentioned too, you had those moments. You had that moment where you were looking at yourself before you went to Thailand. Was going to Thailand a goal to begin with? Was that a goal that you set for yourself that you were heading for? Or is that something that kind of just developed as a result of you training regularly?
Well, it's kind of like before I started training Muay Thai, like my senior year of high school, I wanted to travel. That's why I saved up money and I was able to pay for like a program to get started. I didn't have enough money to travel, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna do the martial arts thing, and I knew I always wanted to travel. So I think somewhere in the back of my mind, subconsciously, I was putting that energy out there, and it kind of just happened. So that wasn't always the goal; it just happened. The opportunity came up, and I was able to take it. So it
Very
wasn't something.
cool.
Thailand, I never saw myself doing that. Never even saw myself fighting when I first started. It just ended up coming out that way.
And it was that consistency, even though you didn't see it coming, it was that consistency, right? Sticking to the training, continuing to move forward, that just made that a reality for you, right?
Yeah, just showing up. There's so many people who literally would like. For me, man, I sucked. I still suck. I wasn't able to kick above my knee when I first started, so I was getting my butt kicked. Man, I was super skinny and no muscle mass. It was just it was rough. And there's these people that come in and they have experience. Maybe they stick around for a few months. They would beat me up a bit in sparring, and then I would continue training and they'd disappear. And then I'd run into them years later, and some of them it's funny now. Some of them are training in our academy. And like, man, it's so cool to see how you've grown. Like I wish I would have stuck to it like you did.
Yeah.
Like I wish I would have taken that path. I'm like, I could see why you'd say that, but also there were some hard times you didn't see too. But I can definitely say that just showing up. I made a post on my personal Instagram today about it. Um, you know that consistency. I did everything I could to be able to pursue this. I literally sold my blood platelets to be able to like afford living and training.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucked. I'm anemic, so I had to like choke down iron pills all the time to be able to go donate blood platelets so they could help pay towards like your phone bill or
Man,
like they'll give you grocery gift cards and stuff like that too.
that's dedication.
Yeah, and it's just because I was like, I want to do this. I have to do this. That's what it came
Yeah.
down.
There's nothing else to do, right? This is the path. This is the way.
This is what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm all in, and I had people in my life that were like, hey, you can't do Muay Thai for a living. Like you gotta go to college, do this, and there are people that were close to me, and I had to cut those people out of my life, and that was hard because in a way they weren't wrong. I feel like a lot of times I'm very fortunate that I was at where I needed to be at, but it's by showing up every day and not missing those opportunities that allowed me to seize those opportunities and open those doors for myself to be able to step in. And now we're able to have that effect on so many more people through Muay Thai to be able to grow it here in Santa Barbara County and Ventura County. And then on a global scale through like our gratitude journals and books and stuff like that too.
Yeah. It's amazing to see how much you can do just with consistency, just by being part of that process and falling in love with it.
Exactly.
We do every day, we keep track of the number of days that we've shown up for ourselves. So that's kind of like a mix of journaling and gratitude and self-appreciation. And the more you keep track of that number, the more it builds and does the same thing. It opens up those doors that maybe you wouldn't have even seen before. And it seems like for you, you've got two businesses, you've had these wonderful experiences, you've been able to positively affect other people's lives. And it's all coming back to that consistency and showing up for yourself, being part of that process, right?
Yes, sir. That's like I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. For me, I try to just stay consistent, steady. Everybody else kind of goes all over the place, but I just try to stay as consistent as possible. And some days I feel like I don't do anything. I feel like nothing happened that day. Like there was no growth. It was just busy work. But the reality is there is stuff that was being done. When you look back at it, and that's where that gratitude journal comes into play.
Yeah, you got to give yourself credit, man. Every
Exactly.
step counts. Every step is a step forwards. So
Yeah,
you're getting
exactly.
ahead.
Exactly.
So cool. Um, so after all this time, have you also seen the similar benefits with students? Does it feel like a lot of people are having this experience where they're growing, they're finding new opportunities, or are they sharing that with you?
Absolutely. So, part of our programs is we actually have what we call our leadership program. It's an instructor training development program. So, for people that are either interested in like the lifestyle of training and being like a professional martial artist, or just wanting to have a more positive effect on people, and they because they vibe with that, they get that's their purpose that they want to serve, and we teach them how to help motivate people. The things that we utilize as instructors. It's like the science and art of motivation and teaching and instructing and leading. So, we have a lot of people, instructors in our program and stuff that have come through our program. I have a teenager. His name's Tomas, Coach Tomas. Shout out to him. Uh, he started with me when he was like 12, I believe, and I think he's 16, coming up on 17 now. And seeing the effect he has, he's teaching my kids program in Ventura. He's my head kids instructor down there right now, and just seeing the effect he has on those kids and what he gets from it, I know there's a lot of fulfillment himself, because he went through that period too when I was instructing him. So to see him grow into that and build the confidence and show up consistently day in day out, during COVID and stuff like that, we were meeting up and training, running, doing everything we could.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's so awesome
Is
just
it?
to be able to have that ripple effect, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
As a teenager, still, I'm like, the people they're like, "Oh, how old's Tomas?" I'm like, "He's a teenager." Like, what?
Yeah, 16 running classes, just getting
he
it done.
his spirit, he's very mature in many aspects. He's still a teenager, but he's very mature in many aspects. So that comes in through martial arts and that showing up.
Yeah, for sure. So cool. So what does the future hold for Pu'u Muay Thai?
Uh,
Where are you headed in
Man,
the near
so
future?
with Pu'u Muay Thai, like one of the projects I'm wrapping up right now is with all the shutdowns and stuff that are going on. I have my friends in Thailand at the Keith Kem Torn Gym in Bangkok. They do a lot of great stuff for their kids that they sponsor in Bangkok. So they have a gym that's in South Thailand that the owner, Jake, he owns the gym in Bangkok. His brother owns the gym in South Thailand. So his brother sends up kids. It's a very poor part of the country. He sends up kids who maybe have some potential to Bangkok. They train for a few weeks. They have them fight in Bangkok, see how they do there. If they don't do good, they go back down south for a bit, come up after they mature a little bit more. If they do well in Bangkok, they stay there. They pay for their school, food, living. The kids are able to earn an income through fighting. That's the reality of a third world country over there, and be able to build a name for themselves. So during shutdowns, they've been the fighters and the trainers have been impacted. So they have a trainer there. You know who Sanchai is?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
for sure.
they have a guy
It's
there.
like the most famous.
Oh yeah, most famous. And this trainer here, he's a former fighter. So he beat Sanchai 3 times in a row during Sanchai's peak.
Oh wow,
Yeah, three
that's
times.
crazy.
Those names not his nickname translates to Lord of the Knee to the Chest. Like, it doesn't get much more gangster than that.
Nice.
He's known for clinch knees and elbows. And I met him back in 2010. I've been in contact with him. He was living in China for a while, and I reconnected with him. He was a trainer down in Phuket, and he told me he was never gonna like learn English. He's like, no, I don't want to come to America, nothing. And during shutdown, he messaged me in English, said, "Hey, when can I come to America to come work?" I was like, "Oh man, shit's bad there right now." So I knew it was bad when the person was saying they never wanted to come to America, right? And next thing you know,
Yeah.
so I reached out to the owner's son, Kiet. He speaks English, and I was like, "Hey, like I had this idea of having instructional videos from Naparat, and to help promote the gym a little bit and help build up the instructors, being able to provide money for the kids that can't make money to send home to their families right now, the production crew, Naparat himself, into the gym. So we have a whole instructional series coming out. We just finalized it. It'll be dripping out on our social media for free from this guy who beat Sanchez 3 times in a row. They fought 5 times.
Awesome. That's awesome, man.
So keep your eye on that. So we're doing stuff like that, a lot of media production through Muay Thai, and just continuing to grow our programs and have a better impact on our community and continue to grow that ripple effect, like you said. So whether it be through online, whether it be through our instructional series, whether it be through our media or building up other instructors, to be able to continue that ripple effect. If I have one instructor that helps 25 people, that's 25 people that I can't help because I'm busy with my 25 people I'm trying to help.
And you never know who needs it and who's going to hear it. The more you get it out there, the more of a chance that you can have a really meaningful effect on somebody's life.
Absolutely. And what it comes down to it too is, for us, like having sustainable business, it allows us to effectively help more people. And that's what the goal is. Like a lot of people, they look at it like, wow, you guys are so busy. You must be making so much money. But they don't realize that our industry, you gross a lot. It's high grossing, but very little profit margins. And for those that don't know, profits is what you take home. All right. For people that run these facilities, it's very little take home, because the labor cost is so high because it's very specialized skill. And that's where it comes into us. And we like to say, you probably know this, you're going into martial arts, you're nervous your first time.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So for me, what we do is we have the term, we specialize in beginners when you come in, and we want to be the friendliest place in town for people when they come into martial arts school for under Pu'u Muay Thai. When they come in, they feel welcome, because just stepping through that door, you don't know what that person's going through. They might have just had the hardest time. They might have been having, suicidal ideations. You don't know. And they come in, you have to be that welcoming person that helps them out, that gives them that hand, that helps pull them in, pull them out of that. So for us, that's what that's about, and that's what our goals are with it. And we're just going to continue on that mission. I know there'll probably end up being more locations at some point, but right now I'm focused on these 2 and doing more stuff online too.
Very cool. Well, I think we're going to wrap up there. And we'll put some links in the description below this video. We'll have it up on IGTV, and I'll also have an edited version up on the Sack Life official website so people can find it there. I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And also, maybe if there's anything else you'd like to add before we close up.
Absolutely. I would love to give a shout out to my family for helping out during all the COVID times, and my team, Ari, Trayvon, Giovanni, my brother Josh, Coach Ryan, who's my partner up here in Santa Barbara, Coach Ralph, all these people that's part of the Pu'u Muay Thai team, Pu'u Muay Thai family. I'm super grateful for you guys. You guys deserve all the credit in the world for helping us keep the doors open and continue growing, because so many people went out of business. If you guys want to support in any way and you're not around, we have an online shop. We ship directly. So we have some awesome shirts. You have these Eat, Sleep, Keep, these new ones, the tricolor design. Just want to give a shout out for it. But you can go check that out too. And it means the world to our team if you guys just give us a follow at Pu'u Muay Thai and at Pu'u Muay Thai SB.
Cool. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for sharing your experience, and looking forward to seeing your continued growth out there. I'll be following the page closely.
Let me know when you come out to California.
Will do, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, that's it today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are listening on iTunes, please go leave a review. It means the world to me if you enjoy the content, if you like hearing about all the stuff that has to do with Muay Thai and what we're doing. Also, there's another way to support us. If you guys visit our Patreon link, it's in the show notes. Also on our YouTube, if you go to pmtlifestyle.com, there's a Patreon link up at the top. You can support us for as little as $5 a month to get some behind-the-scenes footage, things of that nature, to see what we're doing behind the scenes for Pu'u Muay Thai, what we're trying to get going.
Also, you can get some early access clips. You can also get t-shirts, merchandise, and a few other things as perks of being a patron. Again, go check that out. It's at pmtlifestyle.com.